Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and, well, it sucks. So, welcome.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to This Will Never Work. I'm Lincoln. Now, today's guest, I'm actually just meeting for the very first time today, but already we've connected on a huge level. This dude is rad. His name is Jon Moretta. He's a tattoo artist at Smiling Buddha here in Calgary, as well as a VHS aficionado. So that's what attracted me to this guy very quickly. What's going on, Jon?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Of course. So this is your first podcast ever.
It's my first ever. Yeah.
You're excited.
I am super excited, to be honest. And to talk about VHS for my first one is
100%.
Couldn't be happier.
So you have, from what I've heard, you have quite the extensive VHS collection. How many tapes do you have?
I just logged my tapes the other day. I have over 700, and it's like 702 or something. It's just over 700, so I like to say 700 plus.
And you were saying quality over quantity.
Yeah, so I'm in a 2-bedroom, and I have like a limited amount of space. Like we have what we call the office, but it's my tape room. Like right. It's I got like the full wall all the way across.
Yeah, I was gonna say so you've got like floor to ceiling shelves.
It's about a half wall. I would love to get floor to ceiling in the next place that I get to, but
100%.
For now it is what it is. I got beautiful shelving, and it's all displayed nice and all spine out. So, but yeah, it's quantity over quality. Because I have X amount of space, like I can only keep it at about 700 right now, and I would love to get it up to like $1,000 at least, but right now if something comes in that's good, and I only bring in the really good now, something has to come out. So if it's like if I'm bringing home a copy of Chop 'N Mall, then my copy of like Alien has to go. And that's a bad example because Alien stays always, but like
I was gonna say
it's getting to the point where it's...
Do you have a copy of Chopping Mall?
Yes.
Wow.
I do. And not only that, but a couple weeks ago for HorrorCon, Joe Bob Briggs was in town.
Yeah.
And I got him to sign my copy. Because we were, there was a screening, they did a screening of it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And you went to the Globe screening?
We did, yeah.
Wow.
And it was super, super fun. It was like 10-minute, 15-minute intro, kind of chat about the movie, watch the movie, and then nice little signing, kind of meet and greet afterwards. Lovely, lovely guy.
I saw him from a distance at HorrorCon. I didn't actually get a chance to meet him.
At HorrorCon, his table seemed like pretty busy.
Oh God,
like there was
a huge lineup.
Yeah, and like when we were at the theater seeing the movie, like when I went out to take a pee, he was just sitting at his booth by himself. And it was like, so I took a couple minutes to just chat and just like say hello and that kind of stuff. But there was like no one there, right? So it was great. And then I went with a buddy and we got some pictures taken and the tape signed, and it was great. So yeah, now Chop 'N Mall was already like front and center, but now it's really front and center.
Oh, of course.
Now it's got Joe Bob's signature. So
that
it's
is so
prized.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I also went to HorrorCon, and I thought it was great. It's really well done. That was the first time I'd ever been.
Oh, okay.
Then have you been before?
Usually I vend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this year with COVID and all the mix-up, there was table mix-up, and I didn't end up vending. But I went just as a participant.
Fair enough.
And to be honest, going as a participant is nicer some years.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't have the pressure of being there and staying all day, and it's nice to just kind of visit, see what's up, and then take off sometimes.
Totally.
And it was, but HorrorCon, it's so good that even like what I planned to be like a 20-minute pop-in turned into like 3 hours and, $300. And all of a sudden, I felt like within 20 minutes, I was like, I had so much money in my wallet. Where did it all go? But I found some great stuff. Always find some great stuff.
That's kind of what happened to me. I was originally going to go on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Totally. Like the Friday night before, I was like, nope, I'm going first thing tomorrow morning because I know in my heart of hearts, there's going to be something there that I'm going to miss out on if I don't get there when the doors open. Sure enough, I got the Friday the 13th camp.
No way. The accessory kit.
The accessory kit
Okay, that's super cool.
The accessory kit, which you cannot get now because it's discontinued.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't find these for less than maybe, let's call it 250 American.
Yeah.
I got it for $60.
Oh, HorrorCon, what a steal. It's just like a giant garage sale for horror
Oh
nerds.
my
It's
God. I
amazing.
was absolutely blown away.
My best score of the HorrorCon, so a little bit of a backstory. Because I'm a VHS guy and I got my fingers in the community, one of the vendors posted a picture of, on like the Thursday night, getting ready for HorrorCon. Here's what I have, no holds. And I saw something that I wanted.
Are you talking about Mrs. Voorhees?
Yes.
I know
Susan.
exactly. Yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff from her too.
So
She's awesome.
Susan is excellent. Susan has, in my opinion, the second best collection in town. And not to say I have the first. I would put myself in probably third place. But Susan's collection is amazing. And again, quality. Susan has some quality tapes.
I bought a bunch. Sorry, not to cut you off. I bought a bunch from her at HorrorCon. And then I also, like, shortly after HorrorCon, because while I was there, she's like, send me a list of stuff you're looking for. Because I had asked her, I was like, do you have RoboCop? Because I was looking for, I just wanted a copy of RoboCop.
Yeah.
Literally within a week, she had virtually, I had like a list of like 15 movies.
Yeah.
She killed like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like, and for like a really good price. Not only that, I had also forgotten that like shortly before that, she posted a box of just random VHS for free on one of the groups. And she was like, anybody who wants to come pick this up. And I jumped on it immediately. I'm pretty sure that Darkman was in there.
Beautiful.
And so when I messaged her, when I realized that was the connection, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I picked up those free tapes. And she was like, oh, I love your car. And like, so we ended up like,
perfect.
We ended up bonding because she was like, I had a Mustang in '06 or whatever. Like, we ended up bonding over that. But anyway, so you messaged her ahead of time.
Yeah. So I had the exact same fear that because I worked on the Saturday and I was like, I'm going to miss it. But I saw the picture that she had posted and there was a copy of Ricky O. The Story of Ricky, VHS. And I know it's desired. I know people want it. It's on a lot of lists.
If that had been on the table when I was there.
Oh yeah. So I sent her a message. I know you said no holds, but can you hold that for me? And she was awesome. Susan's great. I've been buying off Susan and trading with Susan for 5+ years probably. So
that's awesome.
So she was awesome enough to put that aside for me. And then a couple good DVDs and that kind of stuff. But it's I also feel like when you vend, you have way more of a chance to dig deep. Because you're every couple hours, you're like, I need a break, and you do a loop and you see something you didn't see before, and it's at the end of the Sunday, you're like, oh wow, okay, I got a way bigger stack than I thought I was gonna. But it's pros and cons, right? Like it was super fun to vend. I love it, but my partner in crime for this type of stuff also has moved away this year.
Oh, okay.
So he's in New Brunswick now, so I'm doing a lot of it on my own, which is fine, but it's like it loses a little bit of its fun when you're not doing it with your homies, right? So
but I feel I'm going to tell you right now, having only just met you for the last like half an hour, I think we would have fun doing it together. So let's talk about it for next year. I'm genuinely serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you vending like VHS and like?
Yeah, I mean, so when we originally started vending, it was me and my buddy, like I said, and we started this kind of company. It's called Contrabrand, and we started off making VHS tapes, just like your beautiful ones back there.
Right.
Speaking of which, I have a few for you.
Oh my God.
We'll get to that in a minute. So we started off. And we saw it on Instagram. People were doing this and putting movies on tapes, and it looked so good. And we're like, yeah, let's have a go at that. And we overshot it really hard. we went 20 movies, 25 copies of each.
Oh boy!
And so it turned out to be like over 1,000 single tapes or something like that.
Holy shit! Yeah, okay.
And like way overshot it, but. Ambition, whatever. It's going to be great. We were so excited. We got all the covers printed professionally out in like Vancouver. It cost like $1,200.
Oh my God. Yeah, you went real hard.
Yeah. And then we spent months going around Calgary finding blank tapes, sealed blank tapes, Valley Village, Kijiji, garage sales, all that shit. And we started putting these tapes together, dubbing them. So it was like fully functional. You could pop them in the VCR and they work.
Wow.
But that being said, holy shit, so much work.
Oh, yeah.
Like to dub a tape, you have to run the whole tape.
Yeah.
Right. So like we had at one point at our peak, we had 2 dubbing machines. So he had one, I had one. And if you work all day, you can dub like 4 tapes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, minimum 8 hours of work. Right
Yeah.
there.
And we did 25 copies of each movie.
Oh,
And 20 movies. And I love my boy Jeff. But together we picked some weird fucking movies to do. Just some, like, we did like 10, or the Cloverfield Paradox.
Okay.
Which is like, number 1, who the fuck saw it? And number 2, who cares enough
Wasn't that
to
a
own
Netflix
it? Yeah, it was a
movie?
Netflix thing. Like,
Okay.
it wasn't, like, it was, and I was like, it was good at the time, you know, because it was like just came out and it was a little bit of hype and we're like, cool, we'll do it. But like, yeah, we made a weird choice on some of the movies.
That's fair.
But that being said, we did make some good choices as well. So I have,
I'm excited
I have
about
2 things for you. One is super not really a big deal.
Nobody's ever brought me gifts before. This is interesting.
Oh, I'm a gift giver.
I like
this.
this.
Is what I do. This is a copy Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, shit.
This is public domain.
Oh.
So this is 100% legal. You can have this. It's all good. There's no issues with owning this. So
Wow.
there you are, good sir.
That is so nice.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, like we went hard. Like the quality is good. Like
Yeah.
they turned out great. They're labeled. They're fully functional. They have like a little cute piano intro on them and everything, like
Really?
previews and the whole deal. They look super legit. They're just
And it's numbered 5 to 20.
yeah. So okay, so maybe we did 20 of each, but 25 movies maybe. Anyway, it's still too
The
many.
math still adds up.
Yeah. But anyway, there you are.
Wow.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is so cool.
Absolutely. So,
I love this movie too.
they're
coming to get you, Barbara.
It's so classic.
It's so classic.
And now that it's public domain, I love that people are kind of doing stuff like this with it. But also, like, because it's been around for like 60, 70 years now, there's so many different releases of it.
Yeah.
That you have like VHS collectors who collect specifically like different versions of this movie because it has so many different releases. But you don't have that one.
No.
So there you go.
I don't have this movie at all. So like
perfect.
this is
Even better.
Yeah, this is actually like this is going in like this is going on the wall 100%. And my custom VHSs are some of my absolutely like near and dear to my heart. So this is one. Thank you so much. I love
pleasure.
this. This is incredible.
It's
And I
one of
can't
those-
wait to watch it too.
Hey, well, it's one of those things where it like makes it all worth it.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
hand it to someone who has that reaction, you
Well,
know,
and
like
because the other couple customs that I have, they're just blank tapes.
Right.
I would have to dub that myself, which
Yeah.
is fine. I think I might actually, now that I have the full setup, I think I might actually dub them. Because the one when you picked it up, you said you love that movie, like Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Yeah.
That is such a good. All of what is it, Zeller? All of his movies are incredible.
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk is probably one of the best modern Western horror movies of all time.
give you that.
Like, it's that movie turns into a horror movie, it's fucking crazy.
Pretty brutal.
It is insanity, and it does not stop until the very. And it's only like the last. Probably, I mean, I'm probably being generous by saying the 45 minutes of the movie. Like, the rest is pretty slow.
I haven't
worth
seen it since it came out, to be super honest, and I remember it being a little bit slow, but I also remember it picking up really hard at the end.
Oh,
But that Brawl in Cell Block 99 is by far my favorite Vince Vaughn movie, like,
Oh, yeah.
without a doubt. And like,
that's his uncut gems.
yeah, it's very different than what he normally does.
Oh, yeah.
right? But like, oh my god, so good.
Now, before we move on from that,
Yeah.
that's your favorite Vince Vaughn movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the question is, how do you feel about Dragged Across Concrete?
I honestly have never seen it.
Okay, same director,
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn,
Yeah.
Mel Gibson.
Okay.
They're cops.
Oh, okay. I think I know of it.
Yep.
It rings a bell, but I've never seen it.
It's not okay. Like I said, I love all that guy's movies.
Yeah.
The like Dragged, Bone Tomahawk, and Brawl. I think Brawl. Bone Tomahawk's probably my favorite of the three.
Yeah.
Just because like I love westerns. I love the old west. Back to the Future 3 is my favorite Back to the Future movie.
Yeah.
Now, the way that dude tackles genres is like Tarantino wouldn't even do it like that.
Right.
It's and I love Tarantino's movies.
Yeah.
We all do. We all love Tarantino's movies.
Of course.
But Zoller is doing like the Lord's work when it comes to making movies. He's making really long movies, but like the payoff at the end of some of these fucking movies are just glorious. So
Beautiful.
Dragged Across Concrete again has kind of that like slow burn, feel to it, but it fucking pays off in a huge way.
Beautiful.
Vince Vaughn is amazing in it. Mel Gibson is incredible in it. And this is like in that weird time when Mel Gibson was kind of like it was like pretty far post like the racial slurs and being drunk and stuff like
past the passion phase.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was only I want to say it was like 2016, 2017.
Right.
But it was like him on his way back on a comeback, right?
Right. It's around the same time as.
Do you like? Oh,
what was that? He did that prison one, the Gringo, Get the Gringo. That
I don't
was
think
around
I
the
saw
same
it.
time,
I know what. Yeah,
but
I know which one you're talking.
it's-
I don't think I saw that one.
I feel like it was like the same kind of upward that was just trying to get back into it. It was okay.
It like at a certain. It's weird because Bruce Willis has the same thing, or did, I guess, before he retired, where he was just kind of doing.
Well, I feel like Bruce Willis has like known for the last 5 years that he's on his way out, and
Oh,
he's just
yeah.
said yes to anything he can get.
Yeah,
And
purely.
I mean, like,
Purely to stack the bank account, probably.
absolutely for the kids and whatever. But I mean, it gets. You get to that point. I mean, it depends on where you are in your career, I
Yeah.
guess. But I mean, for Bruce Willis, I'm like, why are you gonna take your whole beautiful catalog and just crap it full of shit at the end? Like it's. I don't know. Like,
Do you feel like-
like if
Or go ahead.
I don't know enough about his like medical shit to be like,
Yeah.
to be like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Like I don't know enough personally, but I'm like, I just feel like like some of those early beautiful Pulp Fiction, Sixth Sense, like those things will last forever. And
Yeah.
the things he's done in the last 5 years, I couldn't name a single one. Like
Well, other than Bruce Willis Surrogates, which I don't think any of us saw, but
I saw when it came out.
oh, did you?
But I don't remember much about it. I
never
mean, like
saw-
I don't know. Like again, I don't want to say like I know what the fuck is up with Bruce Willis. I don't, but I feel like it's a weird choice to be like such a Hollywood star,
Yeah.
and to go do all these fucking D movies and just smash them out one after another. It's just
I kind of wish we had gotten one more Die Hard. That's kind of what I was holding out for, was at least one more, because I love the Die Hard series. And I kind of wish we had gotten one more Die Hard, and maybe if like that had been his last movie or something like that, would have been a poignant wrap up to a career, I think.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's kind of like, because he has movies coming out. I think he's got like three or four movies that he's done that are coming out, but they're all
action buddy cop.
Well, they're just-
kind of
like the stuff that Liam Neeson's doing now too, and like
exactly.
and like so jumping off Bruce Willis and maybe over to like Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like I feel like the stuff that Nick Cage is doing is a little bit more offbeat? Like he's still doing kind of those like D-movie Bruce Willis ones, but he's also doing like
I feel like he's picking the right projects though.
he is
Right?
in a
Like,
lot of ways.
Yeah. I'm a weird guy on Nicolas Cage because I feel like most people are very polarized with him, right? You either love his shit or you fucking can't stand the guy. I'm very kind of in the middle with Nick Cage, to be honest. I think he's done some amazing, amazing work as an actor. top notch. You
For
can't
sure.
you can't say he's not an amazing actor. Some of the choices recently have been top notch, and to be super honest, I haven't enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
But like,
Willy's Wonderland?
I loved it.
Really? I didn't.
I did. And because it was so goofy and so cheesy, and it wasn't trying to be too serious. It was campy. It felt like kind of like it could have been made in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
he was great.
I love it.
I think I just expected something different from the movie. And that's kind of, I shouldn't even say I was disappointed because what it was great.
Yeah.
But overall, I kind of walked out of it going, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I'll give you that. And I felt the exact same way about Ghost of the Wasteland.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
Didn't enjoy it.
I was okay, fair enough.
I was so excited to see it because it looks like over the
Looks
top,
unbelievable.
crazy fun, but it did not deliver for me personally. But Mandy is one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years for sure.
I think it's
straight up.
It's probably the best. It's the best movie that he's made, that he's been in I would say 10 years.
I agree.
Or
Absolutely.
more. Like Mandy is so fucking good. It's disgusting. Like that movie is so fucking bizarre and it's so good. And Johan Johansson was the one that did the music. The music is absolutely Mandy was actually one of the, because Johan Johansson actually passed away shortly after. Mandy was like one of the last soundtracks that he scored. Sicario and Mandy were like among, I don't know what else, I'd have to look it up on his IMDb, but yeah, Mandy and Sicario were like one of the last two movies that Johan Johansson scored, and his music was fucking...
Oh, it made the movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, obviously, like, the visual aspect of it was...
That color palette.
Beautiful. Oh, so good. Like, the heavy reds
Yeah.
and, like, just paired so well with the tone of the movie.
The bathroom freak out when he's in his
so
underwear.
good.
It's one of
Just
the
loses
best
it.
Nick Cage freakouts
Yeah.
that's ever been put to film.
Right up there with the bees. So
Yep.
good. So good.
No, not the bees.
I didn't like Pig.
I haven't seen Pig.
So Pig I found was also like pretty polarizing. People either really liked it or didn't. What I didn't like about it was that they marketed it as it was going to be like a revenge kind of flick.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And it's not.
It's not. No. I won't get into it, but like
That's fair. I think I'm still gonna watch it, but yeah, that's
it was a different movie than it was presented as. And like as if it had been given to me as the movie it was, I probably would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I sat there the whole time waiting for him to start beating motherfuckers up. And it didn't get there. So it was, which, fine, that's not the movie it was. But that's what I was expecting, right? So I was...
It's unfortunate that the marketing for certain movies, especially stuff like that, that's more like I kind of had a feeling that Pig was more of an art house indie drama versus
it's exactly what it turned out to be, yeah.
And because it was an A24, I think it was an A24 film.
Sounds right.
Or Neon, whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of those companies where, yeah, one of those companies. And so to me, I kind of thought, no, like, because we've been burned by marketing before in terms of so many movies, and like expectations. Like I'm trying to think of like a really.
I got a classic example.
Yeah, go ahead.
Snakes on a Plane.
There, yeah.
Right?
I don't think I've even ever seen Snakes on a Plane.
What was it, like 2008 or some shit? But it was like the hype was so big.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
was like, "Oh my god!" And then it bombed so hard. But I was like, everyone said that it kind of like it promised so much, and then the delivery was down here. But I'm like, it delivered exactly what the fuck
It delivered snakes
was
on a plane.
snakes on a plane,
Yeah.
But that was I think a prime example of one of those like big Hollywood movies where it was hyped up and shown in this kind of way that people were like so excited, and then they got there and it just wasn't present. I mean, like the movie wasn't as it was presented, right? A lot more like a lot more action heavy and fast paced, and then you get into it and you're like, this is kind of slow, and like it's and like he delivers the one line right at the end, and the sick of these
fucking
motherfucking
snakes.
snakes.
And,
And
yeah.
motherfucking play.
I have a good one for you. Observe and report.
Okay, hit me your opinion, because I fucking love Observe and Report.
I also, I've watched it twice. I saw it when it came out.
Yeah.
And was not in love with it because it was very much not what was advertised.
Yeah.
That was a movie that was very much advertised as, this is a Seth Rogen
Upbeat.
yeah, like this is like
yeah.
Paul Blart Mall Cop but
Yeah.
with Seth Rogen, and it's going to be like an upbeat comedy. That movie is so fucking dark. Like it is.
It's a lot of really serious shit.
Oh yeah,
like,
that is a dark fucking movie.
Yeah.
So I think the second time I watched it, I was able to, like, it had been far enough removed from when that movie came out that I was able to, appreciate it more the second time, where I was like, okay, I understand what they were doing here. It's more, again, that one's another one that's dramedy, like dark dramedy art house film. Like it's like Napoleon Dynamite was even sold as like this like slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And it was not. It was very much like Napoleon Dynamite was what it was.
Yeah.
And I never liked Napoleon Dynamite as much as
big as it got.
yeah, like it just
for sure.
That was one of those ones where it was like everybody was quoting like Anchorman and all those things that we had nothing else. Like we just
Bo Pedro t-shirts were at every Winners. And
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is wild to me that movie blew up the way it did, because it's a really slow.
It's funny and it's quirky. It's
like Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not like a solid heavy hitting.
And it's not a bad movie. It's just kind of like it's always been presented as this like, again, like another like upbeat comedy.
Yeah.
With him like doing the dance and the thing and like the I guess the whole point of it is just marketing. No matter what, they're trying to get you in seats. So they're going to lie to you about what these movies are actually like.
Yeah.
Versus, what you're actually getting.
Yeah. Which is a great segue into my next gift.
You have another gift.
Oh, I have a backpack full of gifts.
Oh God.
It's not like excessive. There's just a
no,
few.
fair enough.
So this movie, oh my God.
Phone ringing.
That's my partner in crime. I'm
fair
sorry.
enough. That is podcast faux pas number one. You
Here,
always
okay.
put your phone on silent.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's his first podcast. He's learning.
So this movie has turned out to be one of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay.
I fucking love this movie. And I went into it so blind. I had no idea what it was when I first watched it. And not really kind of like marketing, but it was just the way I had perceived it or I had heard about it was different than what it turned out to be. And this is what we do in the shadows. So Taika Waititi, obviously, he's huge right now. He's blowing up. He's doing everything all over the place. But so the first time I saw this movie, I had no idea it was like a mockumentary.
Okay.
Right? So I thought maybe for the first 5 minutes, I was like, are they like cosplayers who are like thinking they're vampire? And then when I kind of like clicked and I got the whole premise and I watched the rest of the movie, it is so fucking good. I've seen this movie probably 40, 50 times. Like, no joke. Like, I put it on at work and watch it all the time. I watch it for fun. I love this fucking movie, and I'm happy to pass it on to you.
Okay. That is unfucking believable. And I will tell you right now, I've never seen it.
Truly?
I have never, and
Okay.
there's a caveat to that. I have watched 30 minutes of it.
Okay.
I've never seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
Because I was very excited to watch it, and I put it on for my wife and I to watch it.
Yeah.
She, within 30 minutes into the movie, was just like, put something else on. This is stupid. I don't know what's going on. That's not her brand of humor at all.
Yeah.
And I get it. So I begrudgingly turned it off because I was absolutely enjoying it.
Yeah.
Can't remember what I was watching it, whether it was like Netflix or Amazon, or whatever it was on. Begrudgingly turned it off, and then my ADHD just prevented me from ever, and I mean, we're talking, this is like a while ago.
Yeah.
So more recently, because they have the TV series, and that's on Disney Plus now.
Yep.
There's like 5 seasons of it. Apparently it's like incredible.
It's just as funny.
Yeah.
It took me, I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of the movie. So when the show came out, I was super excited, and I watched the first season and I was like, yeah, okay. But like upon rewatch, I was like, oh my God, hilarious. And it just keeps getting, the more I watch it, the funnier it gets. And it's just such a solid idea. Like, they can go forever with it, and I'll watch it as long as
they literally can, because they're vampires.
Right.
So thank you so much. I am
pleasure.
so excited about this, especially now, because I've been wanting to like rewatch it and like actually sit down and watch it. And now that I have it on VHS, I'm gonna watch it the way it should be watched.
Perfect. It's honestly, it's a hard movie to find as well. Like, even like a DVD copy.
Yeah.
I had to go all the way to the lobby in Edmonton to find a DVD copy of it.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's not at Sunrise or Walmart or wherever you get your DVDs from these days. But
No. Well, I mean, you could probably order it on Amazon, but that's kind of the devil.
yeah,
That is
stay away
so
from Jeff Bezos if we can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
there you go. Those are the only 2 contraband tapes that I brought you. Just because I'm running a little bit low, and we're trying to get away from the tapes, to be honest. Contraband now, we're doing comic book stuff, which I have a new comic coming out. But we'll chat about that in a little bit. I have a few more gifts for you.
Oh my God. Okay. This guy is the best.
I'm a gift giver. I love to give gifts. The community of collectors who collect cool nerd shit, everyone is so welcoming and everyone is so good and helpful to each other that I've been blessed, and I have an exorbitant amount of shit, and I'm happy to pass it on to other people who enjoy it. Like, it genuinely gives me pleasure to give gifts. You know, I'm just one of those people. I just love to do it.
That's fair. And my love language is receiving gifts.
Stuff.
So, yeah, it's literally stuff. So like I am in heaven right now.
All right. Well, I got 2 tapes and a DVD for you.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You have you honestly have no idea how excited I am right now.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I love receiving movies.
Okay. So we'll go with the DVD because
Okay.
it's top on the list. This is Ants. Have
I
you
do
ever
not
seen
have it.
Ants?
Nope.
Okay. This is a great, horrible movie. This is one of those like really cheap, really crappy, but you'll love every second of it.
Okay.
Who is the big star? Suzanne Summers. I don't even remember what else she's been in.
The name sounds familiar, and yeah.
It's I'll give you a real quick hilarious breakdown of this movie.
Okay.
Just because it's worth it. It's not really a spoiler. It's fun as fuck. So it's a hotel, and next door they're renovating, they're doing some construction and digging deep, and they unearth this ants. Unearth ants.
Okay.
And it's the people staying at the hotel, and it's, they kind of get trapped in it when the ants swarm. And my favorite scene from this movie, I'm trying to want to spoil it, but so they're like, I'm gonna, because it's hilarious and it's worth watching anyway. They're sitting in this hotel room, and the guy's like opening the door. He's like, the ants are coming, and he closes the door, and it's ridiculous. And the people outside, there's a big crowd outside now because they've gathered, and the police are like, oh, fine, we'll bring in a helicopter, and that'll get him out of there. So they bring in the helicopter, and it just swirls up the ants. And now all the people that were just standing around are covered in ants, and everyone is just covered in ants, and it's a hilarious movie.
Oh my God.
I, lucky enough, have a VHS copy of it. So that's, but when I was in Valley Village and I found it, I was, there's certain things that are like, even though I own this, I'm not going to leave it here.
Yeah.
I don't, like, it's too good. I'll give it to someone. It'll be a gift.
Oh yeah.
So, ads. Highly recommended.
I'm yeah, I've never even heard. It's kind of funny because it's like, to me, it kind of sounds, it's like those, what Alfred Hitchcock kind of started with, The Birds.
Yeah.
Right? It's just kind of like, and like, arachnophobia is one of those. And
there's a whole genre of like, creepy crawlies. There's like Ticks and The Nest and
just movies where it's like normal things are like,
but they're big. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just like Ticks was great because it was just like, oh, this is just we're in the woods, but the ticks are this big. And
Oh
you're
my
like,
god,
fuck.
this is so cool! I'm so excited to watch this.
Excellent. And I took a risk because you're a collector, and it's hard to find things for collectors that collectors don't have.
Right.
But I'm happy that I'm hitting all the
Oh yeah,
boxes.
no, you are.
Okay.
Well, with your custom VHS,
Right, I mean,
of
like,
course, I'm not going to
you
have
don't
that.
have those.
But no, I definitely do not have that. So that's incredible.
Excellent. Okay, Ants. This is a beautiful, beautiful VH copy of Savage Dawn. Media has some of the best covers. They do some of the best stuff.
My Masters of the Universe.
Absolutely. Savage Dawn. This is like it's like a Mad Max kind of hero saves the wasteland kind of deal. It's not a super solid movie, but look at that art. Look at that art.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, like, it goes on the shelf and it sits there beautifully. But it is worth a watch as well.
Oh, 100%.
So I have a couple copies of that. So there you go.
That is. It's one of these. Is it a side opener?
Oh, does it have a bottom flap?
Yeah.
Oh,
It is a
that's-
bottom flap. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. Maybe I want it back. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, and it's a Blockbuster one.
There you go. I love having the old rental tapes on there, like the stickers. I love it.
I had a copy of Clue
Yep.
in a Blockbuster box that just had like Clue and Blockbuster on the spine, and it was like their clamshell black. And I am 90% certain, because my wife, when we moved in together initially, like when we built our first house, she kind of pushed, this is before we got married, she kind of pushed me into like purging a bunch of stuff that I had, which included virtually, she was like, you can keep, like, I think what I ended up being able to keep was like 20 tapes, something like that.
Yeah.
So I purged quite a lot of like my movie collection and stuff like that. And so I've spent a lot of time since that trying to like rebuild the collection.
Well, I spent the last 10 years trying to do it for me.
And that Clue tape is one that I reflect back, and I'm not 100% certain that it's gone, but I'm pretty sure it is gone.
Right.
And that's one that I reflect back on where I'm like, I should have never gotten rid of that tape. That should have always been in the keep pile, and I don't know why I would have gotten rid, because I love that movie, first of all, and then second of all, it's like a relic because Blockbuster's gone.
Okay, real quick, divisive topic. VHS collecting,
Yes.
cut box or no cut box? Rental, slips, or normal?
Normal.
Do you have, I mean, preferred, I would prefer, if I had a chance, if there's two copies, I'm going to take the normal one.
Yeah.
But do you, like, will you refuse something because it's in
Not
a
at
cut
all.
box?
Not
No?
at all.
Okay.
No, like that, like I said, like that copy of Darkman back there, like that's a cut box.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
In a clamshell. Like I'm never going to refuse that. Phantom, same thing. And then I have Jaws 1, 2, and 3, and those might have come from Susan too. But the I can't remember if they came from Susan or if they came from somebody else. But they have the box itself intact, but there's no top or bottom.
Right.
So they're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like a slip cover over just the which is fine. Like that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because like the tape, like they're like the original VHS covers from like the 70s. So like
Yeah.
they're that cool blue, the Jaws 1, 2, and 3 on this like they
Yeah.
look amazing.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was kind of weird when I picked one up and it almost slipped out the top. I was, oh shit. So yeah, I actually kind of, now that you asked me that question,
Yeah.
it depends on what it is, because I have 2 copies of Friday the 13th part, the 3D one.
Yeah.
One is a cut box that's in a plastic case that you have to open, get out the bottom, and like it's got the one spine and then it like they cut the other spine off.
Yeah.
And then the other one is an actual nice tape. They're both on the wall.
Yeah.
Right? They're both, so the ones that are like kind of dismantled and put in rental cases and stuff like that, like there's history there. So I'm not against it.
That's what I find is like, I find a lot of people in the collector's world, they don't like the cut boxes, which is I don't want to say like all that's like a majority of a thing, but I find a lot of people find that like obviously if they could prefer to have a slipcase, they want a slipcase. But for me, I mean, I love an X rental. It's got the tapes, it's got the stickers, you know, especially in Canada. You find shit in your collection that's from like PEI, and you're like, man, who picked up and moved and brought this fucking thing with them, you know? Like,
I have so many tapes like that
Yeah.
that are like, they literally came from all over, like BC, Saskatchewan, all over. And I'm like, how did you get here?
just to end up in the Valley
Yeah.
Village, right? It's such a shame. But I have one more thing for you.
Okay.
Okay. I saved the best for last. Now,
Is that why you're asking me if I like cut boxes?
no, that was just a
okay.
general inquiry because I see mostly nice slips on the shelves.
I don't discriminate.
No, and I'm just whenever I meet a collector, I'm curious.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I also don't discriminate. I have probably about a third of my collection is cut boxes, including some of my best stuff.
Ultimately, as long as the tape works,
Exactly.
that's what matters.
So real quick, I was gifted this myself about a month ago. And
Okay.
I'm sorry because whoever gifted it to me is probably going to watch.
Okay.
But I'm going to re-gift this to you because I think you're going to appreciate it much more than me, and
Okay.
that's what I'm all about. So,
Okay.
you're going to be excited about this one, ready?
I'll close my eyes.
Ta-da!
Holy shit. What is this?
So this is the animated Ghostbusters show that was around for like I think a season or two in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I've watched all of it for
Yeah,
sure. But
I think
like,
this is
didn't
the
even
first
know-
episode or two, and it's like that beautiful side open. And a little backstory: this came, I think, directly from the collection of Who Gave It to Me, from like their childhood collection.
Oh my god.
And I'm a vintage cartoon guy more than I am a Ghostbusters guy, to be super honest. But I feel like you will appreciate that
buddy.
much more than mine. So
That's so funny. I mean, I guess it's probably not hard to figure out that I'm a pretty big Ghostbusters fan just from my Instagram.
yeah,
Wow. I'm actually speechless. Like this is
that's hard to find too, and that's not like that's like I don't accept VHS as gifts because I'm so picky with what I have. Right, my collection is so like focused.
yeah.
But someone gave that to me, and I was like, wow, there's a tape that I will absolutely make it into the stacks. That's going home with me, which is rare. But I think that you're going to appreciate it more. So
I do.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
god. Thank you so much.
my pleasure. Absolutely.
This is
That's the end of the bottomless bag of gifts.
oh my
But
god. You're Felix the cat grab bag. Wow. This is immediately going on the wall. Look at the artwork.
I know. It's so good. It's back in the day when they like actually had to hand paint the cover and like it wasn't just photoshopped together with the fucking couple hugging or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, like
This is so cool. And I bet you anything it starts with like the little like magic window thing where they're like all did you watch it?
I didn't honestly.
Okay, fair
no, I
enough.
didn't even make it. So with having so people ask me this all the time when they see my collection, right? Like, oh, have you seen all these movies? I'm like, no.
No.
Like I have, like I said, 700 movies. So there's enough movies there I could literally watch one every day for over 2 years.
Yep.
And not get through it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. So it's if I haven't gotten to something and I pass it along, it doesn't bother me. You know,
No.
like it'll either come back into my life and it is meant to be, or you know, like it's just gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a collector. I'm a sharer. I like to find the right home for things, you know. And if I'm the temporary home for something, that's fine. But I think you're the permanent home for it. So
This will never leave the wall except I will watch it. In fact, I'll probably do a TikTok live putting this on and just like because I want to start doing like lives in my space here.
Yeah.
And like I have a couch on the other side. I'm gonna wheel in here, sit on the couch, set up the live, and then just like sit and watch like cartoons and stuff or
Yeah.
like all sorts of stuff. I have the 89 Batmobile.
I've been eyeing that for the whole time I've been sitting here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I haven't built it yet. Upstairs, I have the Ecto one that's built.
Yeah.
which I might take apart and then rebuild on live. Because I think I'm going to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down, throw on all the Batman movies and just like watch them all and build it.
Beautiful. This set is so gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
It's so beautiful. I am also a Lego guy.
Yeah.
On top of all this other shit that I collect. But I don't often buy the larger sets because, Lego is pricey as shit.
Well, yeah, that's a $260 set at retail.
That surprises. I would assume that's like a $400 set.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So you have to get it before they discontinue it.
Right.
Otherwise, you will be paying. That's why I have two of the Ecto ones.
Yeah.
Because I have a sealed one and the one that obviously I built. Because I know one day that sealed one, when they've discontinued it, is going to be like $1,000 even.
Well, even the open one is worth $150, something like that.
Easily.
Yeah.
They just did you see the DeLorean?
Yeah, they reissued that, right? This is coming out.
No, it's new.
Oh, because they've had a DeLorean before.
Yeah, but they had the small one. So they had yeah. So I have they did a small set that basically like the minifigs can sit in for Back to the Future and Ghostbusters, and then the new sets are like the adult collectors ones that are like not full scale, but they're like much larger and they have like moving parts and stuff like that. So now they've done the 89 Batmobile, they did the Batwing, they've done Ecto 1, and then they did the DeLorean. So the DeLorean, like they have one at like all the Lego stores, they have one on display that's kind of like spinning, and it comes with Doc and Marty and stuff like that.
Right.
That one is like $220 at the Lego store, which isn't bad. But I'm like, and they're hard to find too right now because
this is how we've been brainwashed, man.
Oh, I know.
$250 for this little plastic's not bad, but it's not, and we love it. But it's Lego is crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't believe it's like for kids and like the pricing and like the amount of product they shove out and the prices that it's at is crazy. I mean, like I love Lego. It's amazing. It like is a great form of creativity no matter how old you are. But God, they're good at marketing.
Oh yeah,
because they just release the same fucking sets over and over and over again. Just like here's
slightly redesigned.
And I mean like so, what's coming out? So in August they're doing the new Kenobi sets, and they're dropping Kenobi's cruiser again, and I'm like, it's like the 8th time you've released this set.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah,
because it has the new minifigure. So
are you a big? Do you have a lot of Star Wars Lego? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't fall down. I want like an AT-AT or the Millennium Falcon, like the big. Do you have those?
No.
Okay, because those are like $800.
Yeah. No. I have like the original Millennium Falcon that came out in like 2000 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's not together. It's in the bin in the pieces. But I have a lot of that stuff from like the original Star Wars Lego run, like the pod racers, the like the 3-set pod racers. I had that. The original Slave one, I had that. The Naboo Starfighter, I had that. And then Lego's interesting for me. I was really into Lego like my whole childhood. Like me and my neighbor growing up were like best friends. Loved Lego. He always had twice as much as me, so I was always jealous as shit. So now as an adult, I spend all my money on Lego. But I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
You had Lego growing up as a kid.
Lego growing up. When I went through like my 20s, when I was partying and drinking and having fun, I got out of Lego.
Of course.
And now that I'm like older and I have a steady paycheck and I don't drink
we got that adult money.
Yeah. Now I buy Lego.
Yeah.
And it's great and it's fun. But it's a deep, dark hole, man. Holy. I mean, like, you could have a room equally as stuffed full of Lego. You know, like, it's so easy to get lost in the hole. Like, it's crazy. The last amazing set I got was the tall neck from Horizon Zero Dawn is the first one, and then Horizon Forbidden West, I think, is the new one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
It's a PlayStation game. It's like super popular.
And they did Lego sets?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's beautiful. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of world, but all the animals are like robots.
Yeah.
And this tall neck, it's like a giraffe, but it's got this big disc on its head. But it's like it stands at like 1.5 feet. Like it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was only like an $80 set.
Yeah.
Which was like, take my money. But
How many pieces is it?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, not off the top of my head, but it's Lego. Have you been to the Brick Bin in Calgary?
No, but I know where it is on McLeod.
Yeah, and they have one on Center Street as well. That's where I go. Quick little plug.
Brick Bin, yeah.
Bin. Secondhand store. They have all types of like retired sets, and they sell individual minifigures.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Although I like go in and I'm like, hey, I have $50 to spend today. That's my limit. That's where I'm at. And I go in and I'm like, I could buy a whole set, or I could buy this Cad Bane minifigure.
Oh no.
And I'm like, and I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll buy the minifigure. And it's so bad. You do that like
Cad Bane was $50.
I think it was $40, but it was like, it's just the example. It's the minifigures it's crazy. The price on some of them are nuts. Like
there's the discount. It's the discontinued Ghostbusters Firehouse Lego set.
Yeah.
I wanted that set so bad when it was initially out. I think when it was out initially, it was like a $400 set. And for the longest time, it was one of those things where my wife was just like, no, you cannot spend $400 on Lego. Like
I know that.
You cannot.
I have a wife as well.
Yeah. You cannot. And I mean, that was also at a time where like I wasn't making as much money.
Yeah.
So that's fair. That set has since been discontinued, and you cannot find it. Like, I think I talked to the guys at Brick Bin, and they have one, and it's not sealed. I'm pretty sure the one, this was a while ago, but they had an open one, I think, and they still wanted $700, $800 for it. And it's just like, fuck, like it's just doubled in price.
Yeah.
Which is why I have that sealed Ecto 1, because I know one day I'm going to retire on that Ecto 1 money.
I wish I had the like foresight and the patience to like keep sets like that, or the space too. I don't have fucking space to keep unopened sets, but like, there's definitely things where I'm like, I know for a fact that set will double, quadruple over a couple of years.
Could you imagine if we had the foresight to, when N64 was out, or even SNES, any of those original gaming systems, if we had the forethought to, because it probably would have been expensive at the time, but like, because did you have an N64 growing up?
I had that. I was a PlayStation kid.
Okay, fair enough. But even that, having the forethought to, when you're like, I just wish that I had the forethought. Like, you know what? Go buy fucking 4 copies of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time that are sealed.
Just put them in the closet.
Put them in a fucking temp controlled container. Leave them for 20 years, because right now those would be so fucking valuable.
But it's so hard in the current market because it's so flooded with everything that you don't know what the hell is going to be, in 20 years.
Be some fucking random.
Exactly, right? Like, here's hoping it's Pops, and it's, something like that. But like,
but even then, that's the thing. Okay, so you cut back to the 90s and all the people that were like, what I always picture is that divorce proceeding where the two people were like picking through their
dividing up their Beanie Babies.
Yeah, they were dividing up their Beanie Babies in the 90s when they got divorced, because they were like, these are so valuable, and like, this is like the most valuable thing we own as a couple, and and like, it's just so funny because we look back at how silly that was. Yeah. Because hindsight's everything.
Yeah.
But who knows? Those might have been, you never know if like, if Beanie Babies hadn't been, because I think they sold Ty sold it to somebody, and then it just kind of like, they flooded the market and it tanked.
Yeah.
And nobody gave a shit anymore. But that isn't to say that like 20 years from now, Beanie Babies could have a sudden resurgence. I mean, Furbies came back.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Furbies. That's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen
Tamagotchis came back?
Yeah, I got a coworker who collects all that shit, and I love it. That's just not my thing.
What were you gonna say? Have I seen I know.
I don't know.
I'm so
my
sorry.
short-term memory is so bad. It's like I will literally lose thought halfway through my sentence and be like,
that's the
oh
worst.
no. But yeah, Lego. It's a deep dark hole.
It is a deep dark hole. The 90s was a good time.
90s was
You and
great.
I. I mean, you were born in 88.
88. Yeah.
88 in August.
Yep.
You said your birthday's next month.
Yep.
August what?
6.
August 6th. Okay. That's
Yep.
good to know because I now have to get you a present for your birthday.
That's the real reason I
yeah,
brought all this stuff.
No, but that's cool. It's cool knowing that you're the same age as me because it's not rare that you run into somebody that's the exact same age, but it's interesting when you meet someone that's the same age that's into the same shit you are.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of those shared experiences, I guess. Did you grow up in Calgary?
Yes and no. So I grew up full-time in BC.
Okay.
But when I was in like the 9th grade, I started coming out here like once a month. So I mean, like I've been out here for like 20 years. I've only been like full-time out here for like, oh my God, I'm like 33 now. Fuck. I've been out here for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
But even before that, probably like 7-8 years coming part-time as well. So
Fair enough.
but I mean, like that being said, like growing up, like I spent time here, but I didn't know people here, right? Like I came out to visit my dad, and like we spent time together on the weekends and that kind of shit. But not till I like moved out here full time did I like obviously start accruing my own life and friends and that kind of shit. But yeah, I grew up in BC, and then I came out here when I was like 17.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even still, like growing up in BC, like there's still going to be, like, we would have grown up watching the same television and like like
YTV mornings and
YTV. I remember. Do you remember when Teletoon started?
oh yeah,
I remember like their very first week they were on the air. They played that Donkey Kong Country show.
Yeah,
a whole bunch. They had
right, yeah.
they only like when Teletoon first started. Yeah, within their first week, I will never forget this because they had like a little timer in the corner that was like counting down to the day that it officially launched.
Right.
But in that week leading up to it, or however long it was, they were just playing like random episodes of like the 5 shows that they had licensed.
Yeah.
And basically like the entire series of like Donkey Kong Country. And like, I can't remember what else was there, but I will never forget. Yeah. Like Teletoon starting, and I don't even think it's a thing anymore.
I don't think so.
I know Teletoon Retro was around for a long time, and like, well, fuck, it's probably like 6-7 years ago now that they like shut Teletoon Retro down, which was sad.
Which is crazy. We're so old that the retro things are.
No.
That was okay. I was watching a show a while ago, Yellow Jackets.
Love Yellow Jackets.
Great, right? But for me, fucked me up so hard was they had their flashback to 20 years ago, and it was in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, 20 years ago was the 80s. Fuck you. And then, but I'm like, oh no, like the flashback, the 20-year flashback is now when I was growing up, which is like, fuck.
My
like,
friend yesterday, he's moving out, like he's renting a house in Airdrie, and he's talking, the landlords just sold the house, so he's talking to the new owners, and he was saying to them that, oh yeah, like all the paint in the house is like 20 years old at this point and all that stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, they were like wide-eyed because it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, oh wow, is it really? Because in my head, I'm like, oh shit, that paint is really old. And he's like, yeah, it was like built in 2004 and like, you know, it hasn't been painted since. And I just like shut down because I was like, fuck you.
It's weird when it hits you, about getting older.
How the fuck is 2004 almost 20 years ago? That's because that was when we moved from Calgary to Crossfield, like outside of the city, and I lived there for 10 plus years or whatever. But it's just like, it's wild to me that like, yeah, it's almost 20 years ago since I was even in high school.
We got our 20-year reunion coming up.
I know, and I hate it. I didn't even do a 10-year. Like we didn't
either.
Because there's no point. It's just like by the time you hit your 10-year, you're like, everybody's just kind of like, I just fucking saw you. Like, we'll see you in 10 years.
And like, we live in the age where like the high school reunion is fucking redundant.
It's so redundant.
Like, everything anyone that I want to keep in contact from high school, I have you on Facebook. Anyone else, I don't give a fuck what you've done.
No.
To be like, not to be rude, but like, I'm from small town BC.
Yeah.
And half the fucking kids from my class still live in small town BC.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you want to fucking go to Superstore and work there for 20 years and have kids and that's your whole life.
Totally.
But like, no thank you.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care enough to like go back to my small town and like see all these people. I just don't care,
I'm the
you know?
opposite.
Like,
I want to. I'm like looking forward to seeing everybody and being like, what's up? What have you been up to?
I would like to like show up and be like, look at me, how much I've changed, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm all tatted up now and like, no, tatted up, I hate that. But like, you know, and like, I don't know, I would like to be like, look at, I'm cool. But also like, I don't give a fuck what the 16-year-old girls I went to high school with think about me, man. Like, I don't care.
Oh, no, you don't have to
You
care
know,
what they
like,
think about you.
yeah.
Because like now they would probably be like, oh shit, John's interesting.
Right? Yeah, right.
At the time
yeah,
they were
yeah.
like, fuck you, John.
Yeah. But I'm not going to be bothered, to be honest. Anyone that I like want to know what's up, I'll send them a message.
Well,
What's
and
up?
that's the thing, because
How
like
are
when
ya, you know, like-
when we were graduating from high school or getting out, like just emerging into quote unquote the real world, that was
Yeah.
when Facebook was starting.
Yeah, I
So
didn't get
we-
Facebook till after high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so at that point, you still would have been relatively in contact with people from high school. So you probably, the first people that you added on Facebook were probably people from high school.
Absolutely.
Same here.
Yeah.
And I still have a good majority of them.
Yeah.
Unless they've deleted me, which I don't care. 'Cause
There's definitely some people I've axed out. And not out of anything rude, but just out of like, I'm like so happy that I escaped small town living that like when I see people that are like, I'm on my 5th kid and I still work at Superstore, I'm like, unfollow. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just not to be
I
like
am not
rude, you know,
happy
but I'm
for
just
you.
like, I don't care
No.
enough about your like day to day to invest my time in it. I just don't, like, you know, like, not to be rude, but like,
Oh my God.
there's only so many hours in the day, and
I
I'm not going to
know.
give my attention to people that I don't
I'm
care
laughing
about.
so hard because like I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, yeah, it's just like, well, and like I know a lot of people that had like got knocked up young and had kids like in high, like right out of high school or like right at the very end of high school. And it's like, we're now, at least for me, like, cause I graduated in 07 cause I did grade 8 twice, which, you know, I'm an idiot, but, so I'm like 15 years removed from high school at this point. And it's like, it's weird to me to think that like some of those kids that I went to high school with have like 10, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids.
16-year-old kids. Yeah.
It's wild.
Absolutely.
It is wild to me.
And I'm still here buying DVDs and
Yeah, like I'm
Lego
still
for myself. Would you like a gift receipt? No.
that is my
It's
favorite.
for myself.
That is my favorite thing when I go to Toys R Us, because NECA is at Toys R Us now.
Yeah.
The few things I bought, they have the Funko sodas too, which I've started collecting. Every time I buy something at Toys R Us, they're like, yeah, gift receipt. I'm like, no, it's for me.
It's for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. I won't be returning it.
No. Do you know Miles Canna?
I don't think so.
So he's a tattoo artist in Victoria, owns Tech Noir with Bobby Tripp.
Okay. Yeah.
He's doing my Ghostbusters sleeve.
Beautiful.
Really, really good guy. They were out here for that Deadly Tattoo convention. And they came and stayed with me a couple nights. Actually, Miles tattooed me in the studio. He finished.
I saw that. Yeah,
he
that's
finished
great.
the upper Scolari brother, because we started this like 6 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
I know the struggle of unfinished work.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's not for a lack of trying. Like,
Yeah.
I went out to Victoria twice last summer, and both times when I saw him, he was like, "Am I tattooing you?" And I was like, "No, you're not. Like,
Yeah.
no, because I do not want to get my
Right.
fucking
Especially
elbow
when
worked
it's
on."
like all you have left is like the ditch in your elbow. You're like, no thanks.
So
Cool.
when he was here back in June or whatever, he basically finished the convention, came to my house to stay a night or two or whatever before he flew home. And when he was here, he just we were sitting on the couch, and he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, so I'm gonna tattoo you today. And I was like, you motherfucker. He's like, no, we're gonna do it. He's like, I really want to finish it. And I was like, fuck, like I wasn't really looking forward to paint it anyway.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, pop culture. Like you should look him up. His work's really good too.
Will do, absolutely.
Anyway, while they were here, I took him on a shopping trip. We went and bombed around the city, like went to Phoenix Comics and went to, ATC Toy Shop down in Crossroads Market.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's another good store as well. So we went looking for...
Are they gone? He's gone, isn't he?
ATC? No, he's there. Thursday. They're open Thursday to Sunday.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of the Crossroads we're talking about, sorry?
Yeah, Crossroads off like in Ogden.
Yeah, there was the guy had the classic toy booth there for years and years and years, and he's gone now. And his nephew is Dave, who runs Snap. So
Okay.
Snap bought all of his shit, and now he's not in the
Yeah, but there's like the actual like ATC toy store that's like wall to wall. Like they've got
of course. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's like the second half is all like sports, and then the
Yeah.
other half is all like
They've got like the
cars and
Funko
shit.
room, and
Yeah,
then they've
of
got
course.
sports,
Yeah,
and then they've got NECA in like
Yeah.
And then Hot Wheels on the other half.
Yeah.
So anyway, I took them there, and they were like, "Oh shit!" And then I took them to
That's where I found that the Undertaker toy from last week.
That's where you found that?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
If you like dig on the bottom rack, they have some old shit tucked away in there. I got the Last Action Hero, the baddie with the big red eye.
Yeah.
I got him sealed on card there for like $10.
How much did you pay for that Undertaker thing, by the way?
$10.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because when I saw you post it, it was a Undertaker like thing you put in water. It was
like a shrink and grow.
It's
like,
coffin shaped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you put it in, and then the coffin breaks,
and then he grows.
He grows. Yeah.
Oh, those things are so cool. That is a really, really cool find, and on card too.
On card, yeah. And those are hard to find because like kids instantly, obviously, you popped them in the tank.
100%.
Right? Like you never open them. But I was amazed.
They don't even
$10.
make that shit anymore.
I mean,
At least if they do, it's
not like mass, I don't think, but like my wife got like a dinosaur one not too long ago, and she put it in, and it got like this big, and now it's back down to like this big.
Well, yeah, once they once they dry up.
And I mean, like, I remember, what were those toys from when we were kids? They were like the Trash Monsters or...
Oh, Garbage Pail Kids?
No, it was like
Trash
that. They were kind of like a plastic kind of square thing, and you had to like put them in the sink to dissolve it. And there was like, they were like cool little dungeon monster kind of things in there.
Oh, I don't remember at all.
Oh, that's gonna bug me.
Fair enough. If you can think of the name,
I'm sure
we'll
I
look
will.
it up
Yeah.
after. So we took them around shopping, and then they got it was funny because like I felt kind of bad because they were like they didn't really want to spend a bunch of money like buying figures, but they I guess in they have a really cool shop, and it's very 90s inspired, and they have like a big TV on their like upper loft area that they have like a VHS collection, and it's unreal shop. But anyway, I guess one of the things that they collect for the shop is like robots and stuff. So we popped into Toys R Us just briefly before we came back to the house, and NECA actually just did a line of like a 2-pack from the cartoon or the comic book or whatever from Ninja Turtles. Yeah. It's like a bunch of the robots and stuff. And there was this like robot 2-pack that they had behind glass that was like locked up, and Miles really wanted to get it for the shop. And then, so we had to like find an associate because like nobody, it's the, where like they have video games and stuff, which is now like adult collectibles. Like they've totally taken out the whole video game and like entertainment aspect. Yeah. So then we have to go find somebody to like unlock the cabinet to like get one for us and like all this. And like the associates are like so confused as to like why these things are like locked up. And then they're looking at the price of them going like, why the fuck is this thing so expensive? And we get to the front counter and the lady's like, do you want a gift receipt? Also, why is this action figure like $100? And he's like, because they know adult collectors like me are going to fucking pay it.
That's so true.
And not question it. And she's like, oh, so you don't need a gift receipt? He's like, no.
No.
Because it's literally, we will pay it.
I recently, speaking of Snap again, shout out to Snap Collectibles.
Snap Collect and Airdrie, go visit them.
I spent about 5 years collecting Ninja Turtle stuff.
Okay.
Vintage Ninja Turtles, like 90s, the action figures all the way through. And like, talk about deep dark holes. I had no idea that the Ninja Turtles had so much product, like unbelievable. And like, when I started, it was like Value Village, grabbing a couple bucks here and there, and I started filling up a display case pretty quick. And then I started buying them online, to fill in the collection. Okay. And then Netflix did that bloody show called The Toys That Made Us.
Yep.
Great show. But it just drove the market up. So everything that I was missing became impossible to finish. I couldn't, I was missing, obviously, the scratch, like the $1,200 fucking Ninja Turtle toy, loose. Hotspot, $200-$300 loose. And I was like, I can't justify it.
That's so frustrating.
And I was like, it got to a point where I was like, I had so much of it, but I could never complete it. I wasn't going to be able to complete it, right? So I took it all to Snap, and I traded it all for random shit. And now I'm collecting more just random vintage, but I like weird. I don't know if you saw the other day. I got some Pillsbury Doughboy vinyl figures from the flea market. They were
I didn't
super
see
cool. Just the weirder, more obscure now, the better. But that being said, I still have my Street Sharks and my Biker Mice from Mars and all that shit still kicking around. So
all loose. Oh yeah.
I don't have. I just don't have the space for cards.
No, it's true. That's fair.
For nice stuff, I will keep it carded, right? Like if I 90% of my Ninja Turtles were loose, but if I went out to a store and I found something carded that I didn't have, I would keep it, put it in the back, keep it carded, right? But if I was also for a while doing 90s Toy Biz Marvel shit.
Right.
Like from when we were kids, like the action figures. And again, that is an even deeper, darker hole than Ninja Turtles, man. It's Toy Biz took every single Marvel character that ever existed and made a fucking toy for it.
Yeah.
Insane. So I was doing that for a while too. And it was just, it's so collecting, man. I had to open shit.
Yeah.
I didn't have the space. But it was the same as your Star Wars runs, right? Where they were getting to the point where they're $10 each.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, $10. Fuck, I'm just gonna open it. It doesn't, if I spend $100 on something, I'm probably gonna keep it nice and pristine. But for $10, I'll pop that shit and play with it. Even if it's for 2 minutes before I put it in the display case. And then I find that you can fit 100 loose figures in a display case versus 6 carded figures in a display case. So, so that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see what I'm dealing with, where it's just I've hit this point of I've had to reorganize this wall so many times.
Yeah. I mean, it looks so good.
Thank you.
But you're always running into I need more space, right?
Well, yeah, because literally because I just keep adding those Star Wars Black Series figures. Mm-hmm. I got one.
I have one.
No, that's what I mean. I started with one, and then suddenly, a month later, I've got an entire row of them, and I was just like, "How the fuck did that happen?"
Who was the number one?
I picked up Mando first.
Yeah.
Purely because I was trying to get him signed by Pedro.
Pedro, yep.
While he was here, and I have a pretty good in. I had a bunch of friends that were working on the show.
Right.
And so I kind of put it out there. I also have the pop of the Mandalorian too. I was going to see if I can get them both signed or whatever, just to have in the collection or whatever. Absolutely. It didn't happen. That's totally fine. But after I bought Mando, I went to Snap Collectibles. I walk in and they had the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader Black Series just sitting on they had 6 of them sitting on the shelf, and I kind of grabbed one and was like, how the fuck do you still have this figure?
Yeah.
Went to the front and she was like, oh yeah, I just found a case of them that had been like just sitting in a corner that we hadn't even opened yet.
Must be nice to have a warehouse full of
I
toys,
know.
eh?
That's what
didn't
I
even
said.
notice.
Oh, don't know this is here. So then I was like, well, these aren't going to last long. Sure enough, next day they were gone. So, yeah. And then from there, it was just kind of like, there's a Black Series group on Facebook, like Star Wars Black Series figures group that I joined. And that's the thing is like, I don't want all of them. I've pretty much grabbed all the ones that I want.
Yeah.
Because there was mostly I wanted like a few of the stormtroopers because they're like the coolest looking figures.
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader, obviously, and then Mando, and I think there's a couple like there. I grabbed Lando because it was like $12. Like they had reduced it way down to $12. So I was like, all right. And then I have the George Lucas Stormtrooper figure that just came out.
Yeah.
And like on Amazon, it's like $70, but I got it for 40 at, have you been to TF Toys in New Horizon Mall?
New Horizon? No, I haven't been to New Horizon.
You should go to TF Toys. Shout out TF Toys. The guy who runs it, Ryan, solid dude.
Okay.
I've now that I like every time I saw him at, he was at like the last comic toy festival thing that happened in like Acadia or whatever.
Oh, the Red and White Expo.
Yes. Yeah. Every time I see him now, he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Like we just kind of like hit it off, and he's another one that I go there and I wind up talking to him for half an hour.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, go check out TF Toys as well. You won't be disappointed. They have a lot of stuff.
I've heard New Horizons finally at a point where it's worth checking out. For me, being a local, all I hear about that shit is that it's still empty as fuck. But
it's still empty as fuck.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, like for me, like I live close enough to Cross Iron that it's not like that much of a jaunt. But my usual route is like, if I'm gonna go hit up all the shops, I will drive all the way down to Phoenix on 17th. Maybe hit up ATC at Crossroads, which I haven't actually hit up in a couple weeks. If I'm feeling up to it, I go do the loop, hit Phoenix on 16th.
Yeah.
Then I'll hit up Words and Pictures on Center Street, which I haven't done in a while too, because they haven't really gotten much new stuff in either.
Yeah.
And then get back to the highway and then veer off towards Cross Iron at the first exit, because then you just turn right up to New Horizon.
Yeah.
And I only go to New Horizon and I only pop into TF Toys. There's also another store that just opened called Monster Kid Boutique.
I saw that because he had some tapes.
Oh, he had tapes there too?
I did see. I'm in a local Facebook group, Calgary VHS Swap. Shout out.
I'm in that too.
Yeah. And I think he posted in there, but it was just, there was like maybe like 10 tapes, but they were actually like decent.
Okay.
It wasn't just common nonsense.
And he had them at the store?
Yeah, and it was just like, just come on by. And
Okay,
I was like,
interesting.
Go check that out. So now I got 2 reasons to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could honestly go after the episode if you want, because I can show you where TF Toys and stuff like. Because to me, that mall, it really depends what you're looking for,
right?
Because there's not a whole ton of reason to go walk the mall and like look. So specifically, like when I go there, I'm like, I know I park on the one side of the mall.
Right.
I go up the escalator and I go and I know exactly where I'm going.
Right.
Those two little, like the Invisible Man and the Mummy, I got at Kid Boutique.
Nice.
Monster Kid Boutique.
Okay.
It's a nice little store. It's kind of like horror tiki themed a little bit. Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
And he's got like horror movies playing on this like big TV when you go in and everything. Yeah, it's very like retro, like Universal Monsters.
I would rather give my money to kids like that all day long.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. It's a local.
Yeah.
That is a very much a local business that like, especially same here. Like I'm like, I would rather support you than give my money to
Amazon or
exactly.
whatever.
Like and that's the thing is like, if I can't, there's caveats to that, because it's like if there's certain things I can't get elsewhere, and I have to get it on Amazon, fine. But for the most part, I will support local shops. Most of like the stuff that's on the walls and around here is from local shops and kind of.
I mean, every once in a while there's the thing that comes along you have to order, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm the same. I like to, if I can buy it local, I can. I live above another dimension in Kensington. Which
Oh,
is
dope.
like, I mean, yes and no. It's awesome that I live there, but it's like so deadly.
You lived.
that
I
live
know
there.
exactly. Okay, yeah, because there's
live
an
in the-
apartment building right there.
That's where I live.
Wild.
I'm in the Riley Park Towers, which is directly above.
Yeah.
It's so we have like the Safeway attached on one side and like the
Yeah.
comic book store on the other. So it's like
Either
I
groceries or
don't have
comics
to leave
today.
my house at all. It's perfect. But it's also so dangerous because like
Oh yeah.
it's a good shop. They have a lot of stuff and
Oh,
like
yeah.
good mix of like the statues all the way down to like individual back issues and that kind of shit. So it's
Yeah,
it's
you-
deadly to go in there for sure. I try not to go in too much because I like literally will spend all my fucking money in there.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's one of the best shops in town.
It's.
To be, I
it's
mean, as far
definitely up
as far
there.
as variety goes, I find that it can be a bit cold in there, if you know what I mean. But like,
in terms of like the people working.
yeah, I don't want to say that because I'm a regular. I love you guys, but like,
No, they've always been very
f-
nice to me.
Like, I feel like it's a nice environment in there, but I feel like it's not as like warm and welcoming as some comic book shops.
For sure,
you
and I
know?
mean,
like
that's-
it just kind of feels like it's a business. And if that's the way it is, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
It might
It
just
is
be a
just-
business
yeah.
to whoever runs it, right?
Totally.
But like it doesn't have that same kind of like family feel
Yeah.
as when you walk into like on Center Street there, Words and Pictures. Like
Yep.
it just automatically feels a bit more warm in there, a bit more like they're all comic book nerds in there.
My favorite shop in the city is Phoenix on 17th.
They're really good. I was doing when I got back into Pokemon for a minute. I don't want to talk about it.
That's another dark
where I
hole.
was going. Yeah. And they're great there.
They've hooked me up with so much NECA stuff. Like they're one of the best spots for NECA right now.
And again, if you look and dig through some of the
Yep.
racks, you can find some cheap ass shit. I found a 10-inch Borg Star Trek in that inbox, $13.
There you go.
And I was like, what?
All
Like,
of those
yep.
Star Wars figures came from there pretty much.
Right.
Most, and that voice chip thing.
Nice.
That was like, yeah, another place wanted like 25 for it. I went there. They want it on card, $12. I was like, yep, really glad I didn't buy it at the other place.
Yeah.
And they, what is it? I wanted the Halloween 2 Michael Myers. That one's sealed, but I wanted one that was, just like one to display.
Yeah.
They had one. It was like $25 because it had already been opened. So I bought it.
Pretty good.
And it's, so I can put it up.
Yeah, they're really good. My wife is big into The Witcher, and they have
Oh, yeah.
all of The Witcher shit. Like,
Yes,
all
they
of it.
do.
And
The
it's
McFarlane
like-
ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a hard set to find.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it a lot of places. I guess depending
I mean, it
on
depends on who you want, right? Because I mean,
what
like,
figure you're looking
Geralt
for.
is always gone, right? Always. There's that set specifically. There's I want to get my wife this shit so bad. There's a Geralt in the tub, and it's
And
just
that-
like a little bathtub, and he's
Really?
just in it. But it's like a $200 toy, and I'm like, it's not even a toy. It's a figure. It's a display piece.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I'm like,
That's a
well,
statue. Let's
yeah,
be honest.
and I'm like, well, we already have like 6 Geralts. Do we need him in the tub?
No.
Like, it would be funny, but I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
fucking, yeah.
So, before we wrap up, let's talk about your comic book
Please and thank you.
stuff that you got going on for Contraband.
Yeah. So we can chat about movies forever.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yes, please. So I've been working on this comic. It's called Lumpy Slump, and I fucking love this character. I do cartooning and comic book stuff as a side. It's always been I've been doing tattooing for 9 years in September.
Okay.
And as much as I still absolutely love it and passionate about it to this day, there's only so much drawing you can do in that style. Every
course.
once in a while you need a break, right? And this is my break. This is my artistic stuff that I do that's not tattooing.
Right.
is comic book shit. And of all the gifts I bring you, I didn't bring any of my comics, which is, I cannot believe I didn't do that.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, this isn't the last time.
Next time.
Oh, dude, this is not the last time we're hanging out. That's for sure.
So I've done a couple comics. The first thing I did was with Contraband. There's three of us kind of who run and operate it, and we each did a 10-page, so 32-page book, which is normal comic size. We each did 10 pages, put it out into the world's super fun project. That was my first delve into cartooning.
Right.
I've always been a reader. I've always been, I mean, like when I was like 6, I used to try to make comics, but like, you know, the attention of a 6-year-old, I could get 2 pages in and you're done. But so at the beginning of the pandemic, I started my own first full 32-page book. And I wrote it, I inked it, I sketched it, I did everything 100% all myself.
That's impressive.
Thank you. It's so much more fucking work than I thought. It's like, professionally when they do it, you have someone who sketches it, and someone who inks it, and then someone who does the lettering, and someone who colors it. And I did it all. And it was a really interesting creative experiment, because I know I can draw.
Yep.
I can't write. I'm not a storyteller.
Okay.
I don't, like, that's not my jam. So I found it really hard to make a book that was 32 pages, that was one story all the way through. Like, I'm not a writer. I don't do that, right? So, like, I did it. And I did it kind of half-assed, to be honest. Most people, when they write a book, they're going to storybook the whole thing, and they're going to have a start and end, and then they create it. Me, I got like 10 pages in, and then I was like, fuck, now what? Like, I'm out of my story. I had no idea. Like, so I had to kind of page by page piece it together. And I made this comic. It was called Die Make Die. And it was about, it was one of the layers of hell. There was like an endless battle kind of going on between these two demons. And it was kind of just like an endless war field kind of thing.
Right.
And it was, a story that I jammed into that environment, and I made it work, and it was fun. And I printed about 250 copies, of which I still have like 150 copies.
Fair enough.
And I didn't, I gave it to family and friends, and I didn't really push it too hard, because as a creative, I instantly hated it when I was finished.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Always.
So,
because you're like, oh, I could have done this and I could have done that.
A million. I could have. But I learned a lot from it.
That's the point. That's the thing right there.
Thing, right?
Good man.
Yeah, and I learned a lot. So so probably about a year ago, 8 months ago, I just had this idea, and it was, I don't even know if it was the name or the character first, but Lumpy Slump, and I was like, that's just a great sounding thing. Sounds so much fun. And he's this, to be politically incorrect for a second, he's this kind of mongoloid-y, kind of cute but dumb warrior. And he's got some overalls, and he just kind of wanders the wasteland, and he goes on adventures. And I've never had something flow out of my brain so easily. I've written 3 stories, 4 stories for it.
Wow.
Out of someone who doesn't write, like, just because he's so much fun, and he's so malleable, he can do anything. He's there's a lot. So the first episode, or the first issue, which is coming out in August 2020, next month.
2022.
Sorry, yep, 2022.
I know we
it's
lost
2022.
I know we lost 2 years, but
yeah, so that's coming out really quick. We kickstarted it. I had so I kickstarted it with a goal of, I think, $2,000, and we made $3,000 on the
nice.
Kickstarter.
Good for you.
So pretty good. Enough that we had another artist, Patrick Sparrow. He does a Peeper Creeper comic. Excellent dude. He did a variant cover, so it's like 1 out of every 5 of my book is going to be his cover. So super cool. Plus, we're doing it like on newsprint, and it's going to be like super real cool. 8.5 by 11, so like old Conan the Barbarian size.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've finished issue 1. It's completely done. at the printers. It's being printed right now. Issue 2 is also completely done and ready to go. It might get on this printing run. I'm not sure. Issue 3 I'm inking right now. Issue 4 is laid out, but I haven't started sketching or anything yet.
Okay.
So it's I love this project. I've like never had something like this that I've been like so hyped on.
Right.
And like 9 times out of 10 for my creativeness, like most artists, I hate the shit that I do. and not, that's a bit of an exaggeration.
No,
but
I know
like
what
it's,
you mean.
It's so hard to love your own creativity. But this is something that I want to share with the world. And I have so much fun making it. And it's such a fun character. It's so like accessible to most weirdos. I don't give a copy to your parents. Like it's it's violent, it's weird, it's creepy. But it's like most weirdos like us will love it. And it's just so like first issue, I'm already planning the future. First issue.
You've got the TV show planned. I love that.
Hulu, hit me up.
I love it.
First issue is just kind of him wandering through the wasteland, kind of establishing him as a character, kind of setting up a nemesis kind of thing. The second issue is he gets sucked off into this arena and he has to fight a bunch of champions and he becomes the arena champion. And the third one, he goes to space and saves a pirate from a bunch of brain leeches, and like it's all over the place.
Okay.
But because of the worlds that he lives in, it's so easy for me to write and like make things. It's very much like Adventure Timey, Rick and Morty,
Super Meat Boy.
Like fun and cute. He's drawn cute. He's a fun character, but he's violent and he's nasty and doesn't give 2 fucks. And it's just so much fun, and I can't wait to share it with the world.
I love that.
So he's coming out Contrabrand on all our social medias.
Yeah, what's the website and the
Instagram is it's Contrabrand.
Okay.
Not band, brand. And we have a website, we have Instagram, all that stuff. You can pre-order issue number 1 and 2, I believe. But hopefully it's coming out within the month. There'll be like a physical copy, and I'm so excited because issue 1 has been done for months. I've been waiting. My partner Jeff, who I did Contraband with the tapes and all that stuff.
Yep.
He does all of the media and the marketing side of it.
Got you.
Which is awesome because that is not where my brain lives.
Nope.
But he has a lot of connections in the industry. He got some amazing people to review this book, like people who worked with Mad Magazine.
Wow.
Mitch McConnell, like
holy shit, that's awesome.
Like some really good names to have a look and write some nice reviews for this book. It's
Dude,
it's exciting.
Up.
I'm excited about it. I think it has like the potential to be fun, to have something that I like could potentially work on in the future, because as much as I love tattooing,
You're an artist.
Exactly. I don't think I'm going to be like, spending the next 60 years slinging ink.
No.
So I'm like, I do like to, now that I'm 10 years in, I do like to kind of think about the future and shit, right?
That's so good. Dude, tattooing, that's really cool, because tattooing can totally be your side hustle.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, it's been my full hustle for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I still am just as passionate about it today as the first day I walked into the shop. But it's nice to have something else on the back burner that I can and I'm not the guy that's like, this is going to blow up and I'm going to be on the space, I'm going to be on TV and it's going to be, but I mean, like, it's the first time I've ever kind of thought that it might have a real future.
Yep.
Like something that I'm working on might have like a good wide reach that people might enjoy, and it might become something.
I can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
Honestly, I cannot wait to read it. it's the way you've pitched it. I want to read the other one too. The
Die Make It Die.
Yeah.
I will bring you a copy. If anyone wants, I still have like 150 copies of that book. It is what it is. I'm happy to give it to people. I don't hate it. I'm not ashamed of it.
No.
It's just, as an artist, I'm like, my new shit's coming out soon. Look at that. Don't look at this. But I mean, I still
My
made it. It's still a thing
first
that I did.
episode of this
Yeah.
versus this,
Yeah.
dude,
It's
all good.
right, it's all-
I don't want
all
people to go
learning,
back
right?
and rewatch the original episodes.
Yeah.
But hey, they exist. Created it. It's fine. I've made
Exactly.
short films and I'm like, please don't go watch.
Right.
I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
but yeah, this is the first thing that I've done that has been like, I'm so excited to share with the world. Most people, like most things I do as an artist, I'm like, here? And
Yeah.
it's like, I guess like,
I'm
have
very-
a look, like,
I'm
and
very
this one I'm like,
excited for
look at me.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. I'm ecstatic that it's finally coming to printer. I'm going to an event in Maryland in September. It's called Small Press Expo,
Okay.
and it's a gathering of all independent comic book artists from North America. There's some big names there.
In Maryland, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be a big venue to get it out. And then I'm doing a local show in October here in Calgary. It's called Panel One.
Okay.
And it's a small independent creative market. It's down at the Sunnyside Flea Market. And it's just like anyone in town who does zines, comics, any kind of thing, paper, ephemera, that kind of stuff. So we got some events to promote it at, and I've got some, I've got a pretty good platform even just at work, right? Like
Totally.
people who come in are usually, into art, so I can sell it through the shop and that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
I'm super excited on like many levels, to be honest. Like we sold a bunch of packages to like comic shops.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, what
We
the
had-
distribution.
Yeah, we had like it was a tier system on the Kickstarter, right? So it was like, for $5 you can get the PDF, for $10 you get a physical copy, and
Right.
blah blah blah. And we did have a like a merchant pack where it was
Okay.
like, buy like 20 for X amount of bucks, and stock it in the shop. And we did have like 3 or 4 of those go through. So
Wild.
like it'll be like in stores, which blows my mind. It's crazy.
You should also, now that I'm thinking about it, you should also go talk to Sunrise Records too, because they actually, I know at Cross Iron for sure, they have, are you familiar with Septembrio? So he's actually a musician in Calgary that has a comic book series
Okay.
as well called Septembrio, which is like based on the character, I believe. Like I have them here. I haven't read them yet, which I feel kind of bad because he's kind of like a friend of mine.
Oh,
or I shouldn't say kind of.
The to read list is
Yeah,
mine
I
is the
literally
same.
have a pile of graphic novels, which his are in. Yeah. But yeah, he's a local musician who's partnered with anyway, blah blah blah. They will promote local stuff like that. So that's actually not a bad idea either, where you could take a few copies, go get them on the local shelf at Sunrise Records and stuff like that.
Yeah, once I get a box of physical copies, again, they're all being printed in New Brunswick.
Oh, of
they're
course,
being,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
shipped out to me. I'm gonna take them around and try to get them into local shops.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, I mean, it's,
local shops will definitely take them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, again, we might be going a bit overboard. I think we're printing like 2,000 copies of this fucking book, which is absolutely mental.
Of issue 1,
Yeah,
2,000?
something like that.
Wow, that is
So okay, so
that's ambitious as hell.
Yes, absolutely. I think might be a bit much, but my partner Jeff is super great at, like I said, the marketing campaigning shit, and I like fully believe that he will hustle and sell these books,
Okay.
and like get them into shops and that kind of stuff. But that being said, I'm gonna have so many,
Yeah.
that like even if I ended up, burning them as promotion, giving them away to kids or not. Okay, I
still
will
gonna-
not be giving them away to kids. They're 18
No.
plus.
But if you give
But,
away
like-
50, you're still gonna have 950 books, or sorry,
Exactly, yeah.
1,950 books.
Yes.
So yeah, you're yeah. I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
But I mean, that's what hopefully like these events, right? Like if you go to Maryland, and like I'm hoping I can sell a couple hundred, because it's specifically people who are there for independent comics,
Totally.
right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Like that's a place to sell, right? But
Yeah, and you would think that the people going to that are going to be picking up random books that
Yeah.
they don't know about to see what kind of hits.
yeah. And I mean, there's all types of local events too, right? Like I wish I had it done in time for HorrorCon.
Yeah.
There was a couple of guys there that I met that were doing independent comics, and it's just it's a great venue because everyone who's into this shit is also usually into comics and,
For sure.
and that kind of weird horror shit. So, and then we also, real quick, we have another book coming out that just got funded as well through Contraband, and it is this is a bigger. It's like a magazine size. It's like 52 page or something.
Oh wow!
And it's up until like 3 or 4 years ago, very, very obscure law where it was illegal to depict crime in comic books in Canada.
Okay.
Or it was like one of these things that was like enacted in like the 50s, and just kind of flew under the radar. It was like, like in the States where like you can't spit on the sidewalk after 8 p.m. Or it was like one of these like weird ordinance kind of things.
Ride your donkey after dawn.
Yeah. And so this book is kind of exploring the history of that. And then plus I did a 12-page, I believe, comic for that as well, and that might be like my favorite comic I've ever drawn.
Really?
Straight up, yeah. It's just like a 12-page story of like
within this magazine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like some fucking punk selling his loot and fighting the cops and that kind of shit. There's no like real story to it, but it's just visually it's like one of the funnest things I've ever drawn.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean I love doing the cartooning and the comic book stuff, and that's kind of where my head is at for the future for me. I mean, like I hit me up for tattoos. I still love to tattoo. Pop culture shit, honestly, is like my jam. Like I'm looking at all your tattoos,
I know,
and I'm so excited.
Well, now
I love them all.
I know, and I'm now thinking too. I'm like, fuck, I gotta come get tattooed by you.
Oh, I mean, like honestly, like anything that I do is gonna fit right into. what you've got. Like I got
lots of room on my legs.
I love doing
and
the
shit,
pop
so.
culture stuff is like my jam.
Yeah.
That fucking Mick Foley piece right there is so good.
That was
I love that shit.
Eggles.
Oh, Garrett.
Garrett Eggles at Radio Block. Well, he wasn't at Radio Block. He was still at Enso.
It's Enzo.
Yeah, he was at Enso Tattoo.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, he was, and then so he did that before he opened Radio Block.
Yeah, I knew he was always he was at Blackbird for a long time, and then I thought he went straight from Blackbird to radio. But
Maybe he went from Enso to Blackbird. Maybe that's what it was.
I would say reverse. Anyway, Garrett,
Hey,
good guy.
yeah,
Great
Garrett.
shop. Radio Block, awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
My buddy Aaron works there as well, and he's done some great stuff for me. The hell yeah.
Enso or Blackbird?
Radio Block.
Oh, at Radio Block. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yep. I think I've met him
Yeah, he's younger.
because I've
than me,
gotten
cool.
tattooed by Cody a couple times.
Oh yeah, then you would have met him. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great shop, Radio Block.
Oh, it's beautiful.
A+ shop. What was I saying?
I don't know. I cut you off. Oh, you were saying about my Mick Foley tattoo. I think just the pop culture stuff is going to fit
just
it.
love it. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I got to,
Is that a xenomorph on your? Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's a big cover up.
Oh,
there's a big nasty spider under there. But
holy shit, I love that so much.
My buddy Jay Skelly, who works at Human Canvas here in Airdrie.
I went to high school with Jay Skelly.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
No, that's wild. Yeah, no, that's Jay when he started tattooing.
Jay reads like Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's done a lot of work for me. I love the dude. He's great. His tattoo station looks like this.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Is he still at Human Canvas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lifer. He'll never leave. I that's where I worked for 8+ years. I worked at Human Canvas for up until September, and now I'm at Smiling Buddha. But I love the crew over there. I spent like 8 years there, right?
Of course.
Like all the crew in Airdrie is great, but Jay's specifically great. But yeah, he did this one for me on the
that
inside.
Makes sense.
And Jay's done a bunch of shit on my legs and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, as much as I love tattooing and I want to continue to tattoo and it pays the bills, I love it. This cartooning comic book shit is I think could be my next step. I don't want to like throw away everything I've done and be like dive into it because it's like such a scary field. But like I'm excited about it.
Jumping in is good, and being a more multifaceted artist is really admirable.
And like the more I do this kind of cartooning and comic book stuff, the more I kind of see it popping up in my tattoos and stuff as well, right? Yeah. So I mean, like it's all just growth, right? Like
any bit of drawing you do is going to further your career in both aspects, whether you're inking it on someone or you're inking it on paper.
Yeah,
all of it. So no, that's sick, and I'm genuinely excited for you on that. That's I didn't know about the comic book stuff before you got here, but like that. Yeah. I'm like genuinely excited about it, and I am genuinely excited to read it too. Awesome. Because it sounds incredible.
Thank you, man. It's definitely, the last thing I will say about it is that it literally gave my wife nightmares.
Oh. The Lumpy Slump stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that fun.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And that's the best review I've had on it by far.
That's what you need to put on the cover. Yeah.
Gave my wife nightmares.
Yeah. 1.5 stars. No, man, I thank you so much
for pleasure, coming man. And doing absolutely
this. Thank you for all of the gifts. Holy shit.
My pleasure.
I am honestly so excited to watch all of those and like find places for them on the wall.
Well, that's the hard part, right?
Well, no, I mean, I have a few open spots, which is good because I need to go through the bins and find stuff to put on the wall, but now I don't have to because I've got new stuff to put on the wall. Yeah. But yeah, this was a really, really fun episode for
awesome.
me.
Well, I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't really, to be honest, first of all, I didn't know what we were going to chat about, but that was not hard. Yeah, that came out pretty easy.
No, and that's really the best part about doing this is I've had a few people that have come on to do episodes, and like prior to it, there's a little bit, I don't know if you were feeling anxious about it or whatever, but I've had people that are like, well, can I have like a list of questions ahead of time? Or like what's this interview like or whatever? And it's like, honestly, it's not an interview. It's really a conversation between two people. And at a certain point, once you sit down and you just start talking, you forget there's cameras.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I like to think that I'm at least relatively okay at putting people at ease and kind of helping them.
All right, well, here's the deal. I have mad social anxiety, and I had no problem coming over and chatting with you today. So it's all good.
Yeah, because we literally met for the first time today out in front of my house. And because for me, it was like, I don't know what this guy's going to be like. And now I'm like, you're my new best friend.
I'm chill as fuck.
Chill as fuck. But no, I'm super stoked that you came and did this because it was,
thank you very much.
Holy shit, this was such a good day.
I'm gonna plug myself real quick.
No, go whatever you need to plug.
Yeah, Instagram is just Jon Moretta, and if you are interested, my VHS, I do have a VHS account strictly for my Instagram. It is VHS Skull or VH Skull.
Okay.
And it's just a collection, pictures of the collection and shit.
I'm gonna make sure I follow it too.
It's honestly, if you're a VHS collector, if you're interested in checking out my collection, I know we talked about it pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good collection. Circling back to it, I feel like I have at least the third best in town as far as VHS collecting. There's a couple people, like Susan is up there, and there's another guy, Charles, who is like my VHS daddy. That's where I buy all my tapes from. I'll say it.
You're gonna have to introduce me to this guy because there's some stuff I'm looking for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can pass that along. But I mean, yeah, if you want to check out the collection, there it is. If you want to check out my tattoo shit, there it is. Instagram, Jon Moretta. Thanks for having me, man.
Do you have a website? No? Okay. Just Instagram. That's just all good.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And honestly, yeah, again, I cannot thank you enough for all of the DVD and the tapes. Like I'm like genuinely, my heart is so full, and that was so kind. Like,
see, that's why I do it.
Yeah, it's right? Like, yeah, that's so wild. But yeah, so thank you to Jon for coming on as a guest today. I'm Lincoln. This has been This Will Never Work. Let's try again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and well, it sucks. So welcome.